Spider-Man Far From Home. Holy hell, do they kick it up a notch in this movie. From the effects to the characters to the comedy, I think that they really hit their stride with this version of Peter Parker and Spider-Man because it's very consistent from Homecoming to this. It didn't feel like we took a turn into a completely different story. It's just continuing on, even though we had so much happen from Homecoming to now.
I mean, coming through being the post-Endgame, I mean, what could they have done to this movie? And I think that they did step a notch, and they delivered on what they wanted to do for Spider-Man. I think that bringing in Mysterio was a fantastic idea.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed the way that Jake Gyllenhaal made his Mysterio.
This is my favorite Spider-Man, both movie and actor. I absolutely love Tom Holland. He's by far my favorite Spider-Man thus far. One thing that I also really, really loved about this one was just the presence of Iron Man all throughout this movie, both in conversations and then just visually represented. And without spoiling it, you know, I mean, just go see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it was just so touching to see that, especially given the relationship between Peter Parker and Tony Stark and just how much it meant to each of them. And then even with like throwing Happy's perspective into it, you get to kind of see a little bit of it, touched base on that. And it was so heartwarming. I just loved it so much.
The music, again, Michael Giacchino did a great job at fusing that Spider-Man theme that he created with the new theme from Mysterio, as well as changing the theme based on wherever they were in the countries. And I loved Giacchino's spin on this movie. Now, granted, it was basically one of those vacation films. It was European Vacation, but for Spider-Man. And there are times when Peter Parker is pulling Clark Griswold level of accident prone. Peter Parker is pretty much accident prone in this. He kind of falls backwards into situations. And for me, that took me a little bit to get used to because it's a lot of just Peter Parker with his class, which again, that's kind of the charm of it, is that you're getting Peter Parker and you're getting this Peter Parker that wants to take a break and go on vacation with his friends. But obviously, there are bigger, more pressing matters at hand that he needs to help out with. And I did enjoy the way that it organically flowed into Mysterio's story. And not just the execution of Mysterio himself, but the story behind Mysterio, I thought was very cleverly done. Everything from his costume to his mannerisms, it's fantastic. It is Lou Bloom incarnate in the MCU.
I really enjoyed the way that Tom Holland is Spider-Man, but also Peter Parker, and he has like that vulnerability to him, like as being a kid and being Spider-Man and having this responsibilities. And I think that he grew a lot in this movie too, and you can kind of see that. And we're going through this story with him as he's trying to figure out it as well. So that was really good. And then of course, the two end credit scenes, I think that there are a lot end credits out there that are kind of like, well, that doesn't make sense. Why would you put that in there? But these ones kind of are like, okay, what's next for the MCU? And what's next for Spider-Man even at that matter too? Like, oh my God.
The mid-credit scene alone, I don't think I've ever like physically reacted that much in a scene in a movie. Like I was just like, I froze with my mannerisms, just in shock of what they're doing and what's coming next, because there are so many amazing ways that they can go with it. And just a taste of where we're headed, I'm excited to see where we end up going. MJ, fantastic in this movie. Zendaya did a damn good job. They gave so much more to Zendaya in this one, and her relationship with Peter growing. I love how they shed more light on her, and of course it's a class trip. They all got more light shed on them. However, Martin Starr had a lot of light shed on him in this one, which on one hand I'm very happy and I love, because I love Martin Starr, but at the same time it is a bit much.
Which also brings me to the fact that I really like the way that they talk about what happened after Endgame as well, because that was definitely something big that we wanted to know how they were going to approach that in this movie. And they do approach it in a way they're kind of like, okay, this is exactly what happened, and then they kind of bring it in with all like I guess the reaction of everybody around it and what happened
in a very Spider-Man fashion. But I really enjoyed this movie. It was a lot of fun, a lot of connective tissue to the rest of the MCU.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to go back and watch certain things to kind of reacquaint it to this story, or at least connect it myself. But for me, I would end up giving it a 4.8 out of 5.
I'm gonna get a 4.9 out of 5. Like almost. You know what? This is a 5.5.
There, 5.5. You're
5.5.
going over.
It's a 5 out of 5.
You got to give it 110%.
It's a 5 out of 5. I gotta go absolute on this.
All right, she maxed out. So
Yeah.
Jenna,
If I could give it a 6 out of 5, I would.
You can't.
But I can't. So
no,
I'm
you
gonna-
can't. Screw it. Do what you want. Girl.
Yeah, you
6
know,
out of 5.
You know what? Iron Man would give it a 6 out of 5.
Iron Man.
So you know.
Tony, like
Yeah.
you said, Tony's all over this movie, and I love how they are continuing the legacy even without having the characters being there. So, and that goes for all the Avengers. This is Spider-Man's
Yeah.
movie, so I love that they did that. But what did you guys think of it? Tell us down in the comments below. You can also like and subscribe.
And do the thing on our Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Stardust.
All the social networking gin joints, you know where they are. Kicking up the party, fuel the party, keep the party going on our Patreon. Gets us where we need to go. We will be at San Diego Comic-Con from Wednesday to Sunday. Be on the lookout for us. We will be at the live Schmodown on Saturday evening. If you're in the area, come by, watch the show with us. And Jenna, check out her Instagram. The link is down below. Thank you, Jenna.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys. And as always, now it's time to say goodbye.
Bye.
This party is over.